Welcome to Live Action Star Wars. I'm James.
I'm Ralph.
And Ralph has just finished eating breakfast.
No, I didn't. I just stopped chewing, but I still have hash
Okay.
brown.
How's it going, Ralph? It's been a while.
It's good. Has it been like 2 weeks?
I don't know. Whenever we skip a week, it feels like it's been forever. So I don't know. It feels like it's been a little while. You've been busy finishing off Getting Lost, which premieres this Sunday. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's very, very exciting.
Yeah.
How's it all going? Is it all good?
It's out of my teeth. What's that? Yeah, everything's good.
Oh, good.
Everything's good. I'm tired. Today I feel pretty good though.
Good.
I get to watch the movie again today. One final watch, hopefully.
Yeah.
Look for glitches and shit, but yeah, like it's weird because like yesterday, like Karen came into town, so I went and I hung out with Karen for a bit.
Oh, nice.
And then like people from all over the place are starting to come in, so I'm going to try and get to as many people as I can. There's still some like logistic stuff, like Sarah's here, and I'm like, is she gonna want to go to the after party? And if so, does she need to bring everybody, or do they not want to go? And if they don't go, then how is she gonna get home? Because I'm staying the night in LA, and it's like there's too much. Everything is a thing.
It's like it's now like party organizing. It's like yes, she is.
Okay, and I figured, but for the rest of them, like it's very, very. I mean, I could just talk to her about it. I've been putting it off because I don't want to deal with any of this stuff. But it's like she already has a ticket to the after party because she's my guest, but so does everybody else.
Yeah.
Including her mother. So I'm like, okay, I need to like just send out the feelers, see who wants to go and who doesn't, and then whoever doesn't, I could probably give those to somebody else to go. And it's like I don't want to do that. Like today, I found out yesterday that I need to make the signage for the marquee out front, the digital marquee out front.
That's cool.
It's like that's two separate things, and then I got to do some stuff for the signage or for the video screens on the inside, which that's easy. But it's like there's stuff to do. Like the movie, literally yesterday at 3:00 our time, was completed.
Amazing.
All the color was finished. The sound has been mixed. It's done.
Everyone signed off. Everything's done.
Yeah, so that's like what, 4 days before the premiere. So it's a little.
Am I frozen again? I think I'm frozen again.
Yeah, but I can hear you great. There you go.
Okay,
you're unfrozen.
It's like, so weird. I don't know what's going on with this internet here. Odd. That's very exciting. I'm insanely jealous that I'm not going to be able to make it. I was really hoping to. I knew a while ago that we weren't going to be able to because one of my best friends is getting married on Saturday, and I'm DJing the wedding reception and stuff that night, and so we're going to be away doing that. And just ended up like being like cost of everything of getting over there was just completely prohibitive because we've just bought a house, which is fucking exciting for us. It's well,
how much longer before your background changes?
It'll probably be a few months. Like it's not a quick process. There's still a lot to go through. It's literally, we found out yesterday that we got it, so that's very exciting. But it's, things can happen. I mean, God forbid, but things could all fall through and we don't get it at all. But like as it stands, the absolute last date that will be here is end of March next year. But hopefully we'll be long gone and in the new place by then.
Right.
It's cool. It's really good. It's 5 minutes from the beach. It's a nice house. I'll send it to you when we finish this, Ralph, so you can have a look because we're super happy. We're really excited. We saw it on Saturday, and as soon as we walked in, we kind of were like, we want this house. This is the one. Because we've been looking for a little while. We looked at a lot of houses, and this one's it's perfect for us. It's very exciting, and there is room for you guys to come and stay whenever you want to, whenever you can.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some sort of England screening.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we'll be there in time for that unless that's pushed to like next year or something. But you never know. It all might move through quickly, and by the time festivals or screenings and stuff happen over here, then it might all work out.
Yeah, I think festivals are done. There was the London Action Fest, which we were kind of asked to do, but I don't know. I have to look into that.
Mm.
I only want to do it because David Arnold's on the home screen, and I want to meet David Arnold.
That'd be cool. I mean, if you, I said to you last time, if you do manage to get that one, then I'll be there for sure. We'll make that happen. That'd be great.
Yeah. So more big news for the show, live action Star Wars. I don't know if anyone's noticed, we have rounded corners now.
Yeah, it's all very exciting
for making those rounded corners. And
the rest of my screen's black as well. It's all dark mode now. It's lovely.
And I wonder if I should do that. If it cuts probably the glare in my glasses.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Can we make it a little more streamlined in the back end? They keep adding weird stuff.
They add this,
but not the layout.
Yeah. It is odd, but yeah. We've been going for 7 minutes and we haven't mentioned 2 words other than in the title of our podcast that like it's kind of what we do here. But it's nice to catch up. It's nice to see everyone. There's a bunch of you in the comments and stuff today, which is really nice to see. Star Wars is great, guys.
Right.
I went to see it the other night, the first one. They were doing, I think over the weekend they did like a marathon screening of like the whole Skywalker saga, all 9 of them. I think they did one Saturday, one Sunday. And then on Monday, they were just showing A New Hope. They were just showing Star Wars. And I was like, cool. I'm not interested in doing a marathon. I'm busy at the weekend anyway. But Monday evening, it was on at a decent time. I was like, you know what? I don't think I've seen that one in a movie theater since '97. I don't think.
Which version was it?
It's the most recent. It was the McClunky. It was McClunky, which is cool. It's nice to see. I love seeing McClunky on big screen, and it's it's as polished as it can get. I tell you what, when you blow it up onto essentially an IMAX screen, it's not IMAX. It's the like Showcase X Plus, which we've got over here. There are IMAX screens, but that's just as good, and I love that screen. It's amazing. When you blow it up to that, some of that stuff that they haven't tweaked since '97 looks bad, like worse than it does watching it at home. It just looks like unfinished textures. It just looks like real smooth. Everything in Tatooine looks real smooth. It's that's not great, but it doesn't take away from the film. The film is still, it's a perfect movie. It wasn't that long ago that we talked about it again on here, so I don't have a whole lot else to say. I was watching background characters. I was watching a lot of like the background stormtroopers or like the background rebels on the Tantive this time. Yeah, just like I was just enjoying that stuff, and yeah, it was good. It was really fun. Liz was with me, and it was really fun seeing her watch it and like just have genuine laughs and chuckles at moments that you're meant to find funny. That everyone else in that cinema, all the guys on their own in that cinema, like we've all seen it a million times. Liz has seen it probably a dozen times as well. Like, but there's still some joy to be had. And we got out, and she's like, "I can't believe that I'm watching this film now." And because we've been playing Star Wars Unlimited at home quite a bit, she's like, "I recognize these people. I know who some of these characters are, and I know like what their abilities and stats would be in a card game. It's what have you done to me, James? I used to be cool." I don't think she ever was though.
Tommy asks, "What's next, Star Wipes?" Do we want to show what else StreamYard gave us? I showed you right before.
Oh yeah, do it.
We can do square. Oh, but the square also has rounded corners, and I can do that.
Oh yeah.
We can do square if we want to. Like, I feel really distant from you right now.
Yeah, come back.
And then for some reason, circles.
It's if we ever want to do like a Brady Bunch episode. I feel like if when we did that like round table episode where we had a bunch of people on, I think circles could work for something like that.
Yeah.
And it means that you can duck out. Like I could have ducked out of that real quick then. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Camera doesn't follow you either.
I mean, I haven't got it set to that. I could, but I think now that I've got it zoomed in, I'm like permanently zoomed, maybe that would work better.
Yeah.
Center stage. Oh no, that's just gonna
Oh,
zoom
there it goes.
on its own. I like the zoom. Star Wars.
So here's the deal.
Good.
Like Star Wars is great. I like
Yep.
Star Wars. And nothing's gonna take that away from me.
Nothing and no one.
Like so like all the bullshit with the Acolyte and it being canceled and all this stuff. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
Like it felt like around that same time we did our show, like stuff started boiling over. And I know like friend of the show, Silver from Star Wars Thrifting, has been like doubting her fandom. She's mentioned that she's going to be getting rid of a lot of the stuff. I think she's going to basically like keep kind of the garage, but just like all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Tear down. I'm just like, that's a bummer to hear.
That is a bummer.
And then that asshole Star Wars Theory. I don't know if you looked into this at all.
I didn't. I assumed that that's who you meant when like you mentioned yesterday that I hadn't had any idea about because I just don't really go on much social media these days.
No. And I only know it because it was like I really only use Twitter for the doc.
Yeah.
And even on there I was seeing like Star Wars Explained, Star Wars Theory trending, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Oh no. Yeah.
And essentially he posted a video like posting a bunch of like private emails that Alex had sent to him, like asking questions, talking about things. And I don't know. I read someone did a thread so that people didn't have to watch the video. And it was just awful. Like it was essentially like, like Molly and Alex are like the most positive people in the Star Wars fandom ever. And then they were like, people who are so angry should be demonetized. And so Star Wars Theory went on and started crying about it and whining and bitching and moaning, posted private emails, posted how Alex is like jealous of his numbers. When it was literally like a conversation where they were at some like sort of convention and they were walking and talking and having a conversation. And Alex was saying something to the effect of, man, it's crazy your numbers. Like I wish I had those kind of numbers. I wish I can, pull that kind of thing. And he fucking twisted everything. And it's fucking
that's not jealousy. That's someone like just being like, hey, that's almost like a hey, congrats. Like you've got some really good numbers. Like, but like it's being nice.
Yeah, so I went over to the Star Wars, live action Star Wars Twitter and just like kind of like went to go voice my praise and love for Alex and Molly. And my feed was inundated with people in the Star Wars community giving them praise. Good. And it was amazing. I put it up on our thing and then I'm like, I kind of hope that Alex and Molly take the high ground and don't do a video response. And I don't believe they have. I think they just went on business as usual, which is terrific. I feel like that's the best way to go. I don't like mentioning this guy or giving him any sort of notice, but I mean, fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. Like literally,
he's a real piece of shit.
It goes without saying, but our stance here on live action Star Wars, and we don't have numbers. I don't care about losing people if people don't like it. Like, fuck that guy. Like, I wouldn't be polite to that guy in person, and I'm generally a very nice person to be around. I'd like to think, but fuck that guy. We don't want him.
Here's the thing that cracks me up about this guy. He does nothing but bitch and moan about Star Wars. Like that's all he does is fucking rip into Lucasfilm, rip into Acolyte, which again you can have like,
you can have criticism fine,
about it. Like you can criticize anything.
You can not like it, but don't. Yeah.
This is a real fucking asshole. But my favorite thing about it is, he's a real like stuntman Mike. I don't know if you've seen Death Proof, where when he doesn't get invited to Lucasfilm stuff, he goes on and he cries like a little baby, and it fucking makes me laugh. And he doesn't understand why his numbers are so big, but Lucasfilm doesn't invite him. And that's like, dude, all you do is rip into him. So fucking why would they invite you?
So, like, I always wonder about this because, like, one, I wonder about those numbers. I wonder, like, what is legit? What are legit numbers, and what are just like
Yeah.
essentially the bot farm, like, just like circle jerk of assholes, because that stuff exists. It's well documented that that stuff exists, and it also exists for good channels, positive channels as well. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but like that just circulation of hatred and just all of the shit that we hate over here. Um, I wonder how much of that is the case, and then I wonder if like did this guy start out that way as just this angry, bitter
I don't think so. I
douchebag?
think if you go
Well,
back,
no, I don't. And
yeah,
I
I
think
think if
it's
you go
just a
back far
case of
enough, it was literally like Star Wars theory is like that was what he did. Like
yeah,
the way that Alex does like Star Wars explained,
explained.
like he's
Yeah,
it's yeah, it's like here's some theories. Now it's like, you know,
cool.
toxic
But
bullshit.
it's like he probably had a criticism about something at some point. It got traction, and so he went,
Yeah.
"Cool." He's playing the game, and there's a way of looking at it and going, "I respect that. If he's making his money, he's earning a living, probably just doing that, and he's just churning out
Yeah.
the content that his algorithm is like wants, and it's successful." But I'd rather be destitute than be
Yeah.
successful from doing that. Like I
That's where
would,
we are.
yeah. But like
I love it.
yeah, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't do it for the world. Um,
Yeah.
it's it because what? No, that's not
It
what.
makes none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense. And the thing where that got me like so excited about this was like the amount of love being poured towards Molly and Alex was amazing.
That's all I
Like it
ever
was
see is like
crazy.
love for those guys,
Yeah.
well earned, well deserved love for those guys. And like whenever that douchebag's name comes up or that channel comes up, it's always like start out because it's like I don't want to feed it, don't want to mention it because I don't want to give it any traction. And yeah, all right, that's probably just the echo chamber that I'm in, where it
Yeah.
seems more positive and everything. But
That's fine.
I never hear people talking good things about him. But
Yeah.
hate breeds hate, I guess. It's horrible.
So like the between the love of towards Alex and Molly and like the support behind like Silver and stuff, and I was like, and then you're like, hey, I watched Star Wars, it's awesome, and I'm like, you know what, you're right, Star
Yeah,
Wars is awesome.
yeah,
And it makes me like I it's so hard like to because again, you know me, I'm kind of like unless there's something new Star Wars, I don't really want to deal with it.
yeah.
And I'm getting excited about Skeleton Crew. I'm
Mm,
really excited about this John Williams documentary.
yeah, me
It's
too.
just like I so I'm just like, you know what? Just enjoy it.
Yeah,
Like it's how I felt during the dark times is like I don't want like I want to enjoy Star Wars, but I can't publicly because people are fucking assholes about Star
it
Wars.
feels
And
like
then
it
now,
feels like that again though. Like at times, like
yeah,
in these like mini dark times that we get now, it feels like that because people are just real loud and real gross about it, and it
yeah,
sucks because you want to be engaging with this thing that we love. You want to be a part of this community, which when it's good, like at a celebration or something like that, oh my
yeah.
god, it's the best. There's nothing like it, and it's just a happy place. It's just everyone is there celebrating that thing that they love, and
I wish
there's
Star
no
Wars
there's no
Celebration was more
reason.
accessible
Yeah.
this year.
There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do that all the time. But and I don't think it's
Yeah,
just Star Wars. I think a lot of like fandom's a horrible word, but like a lot of fandoms have this same thing. And you know,
mm,
sports have it as well. Like people like they'll support their thing, but they'll rag on it and they'll follow their thing. But there's always, and it's just just seems to be the world that we live in now, where for
so loud.
every one person that wants to love something and will talk about it, there's either one who gets louder about how much they hate it and it's
Mm,
bad and that you're an idiot for liking it, or there's two or three who are just like, "Ah, you're a fucking idiot. What are you doing? Like, what is this? This is terrible. Blah blah blah. I can't." Yeah,
yeah,
and I hate it. I hate it.
yeah,
But and it does. It makes you go, "Ah, you know what? I'll enjoy it in my own time." But we should be
right.
able to have this community. So
Which was how I was our last episode, where I was just like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, but I want to talk to James. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of this episode has been so far, is like us not
Yeah.
talking about Star Wars. But I'll tell you this, there's someone out there who loves Star Wars and who wants to bring joy back to Star Wars. I don't know if you read this story or not. I saw it while I was pouring through the Twitter. Donald Glover
Yeah.
says that he's working on Lando and then he wants to make it fun. He
Yes,
says
I saw. I
there's
saw the clips. It was an interview with Vanity Fair, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm assuming that it was an interview about all sorts of things. But I saw the clips about Lando specifically, and oh man, did it give me such hope for that project. Like, we know that it was, what was it? It was a series, but that was cancelled, and it's like, but they were still, him and his brother Steven are still developing it as a movie. Or I feel like it's now a case of like, it's just in limbo. There's not a development timeline for it. It'll be whatever it's gonna be, whatever Disney want it to be, and whatever they decide to breaking out as a story. But yeah, he was talking about how he's not interested in doing it if it's not fun. He doesn't want to do it if it's not fun.
Yeah.
And how fun it is for him and his brother Steven to, like, they'll get together, like one of them will come over to see the kids and stuff like that of the other, and they just end up having fun. I think the question that was posed was like, what's it like working with your brother on all these projects? Like, he's like, it's great. It's what you dream it to be, because he's my best friend, and when we're hanging out just doing like family gatherings or whatever, we end up working because we just have ideas that we bounce off of each other, and that's just the relationship that they've got. And oh man, that would get me pumped for that project so much. Like, just
he mentioned that Star Wars, he feels Star Wars is getting too serious. I agree. I love Andor. I like the Acolyte. And it's one of those things where, like, yeah, you have like Mandalorian and stuff, but what he said essentially was, you know, like, there's like a lot of war in the world, and some people don't want to think about that. And what's great about Lando is he's a scoundrel. He's not part of that war.
Yeah, we saw the war. It happens in, like, between Empire and Jedi. Like, that's him then getting involved in the war. Before that, his, like, what's it like? I can't remember the line exactly when they get to Bespin, and he's just like, we're a little small operation. The Empire doesn't bother with us. Like, and that's been his life up to that point, and that's what we're gonna see with Donald Glover. It's like just more of Lando's shenanigans, his like schemes, his like, what other little businesses did he run? Like, where else was he set up for a while? Because we always think about these things as like galaxy hopping things. Doesn't need to be. It could be him like running a small cantina or something like that, and like it going like almost like a Better Call Saul was to Breaking Bad. Like, or it's just like he's almost a completely different character. He could be going under an alias. Like, we know it's Lando Calrissian, but he's the first episode he gets into some trouble, and then he's in hiding as someone else for a little while. Like, I could totally see them doing something like that. It's a way of just having some hijinks.
I'm more excited about that than I ever was.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there's positive movement on it. Like, it sounds like it's one that it's just percolating. They're working on it. It's not like Ryan's or Taika's or anything like that, where it's like, we'll get to it, It's like, this is in quote unquote active development. It's just quietly chugging away behind the scenes.
Yeah.
He's talked about it a few times in the last year. Like, he's been doing a lot more press this year because of 2 albums and another movie, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith wrapped up and things like that. But like, it's come up, I feel like, in every interview. And if he wasn't willing to talk about it, if it wasn't something that he was going to be pursuing, I don't think he'd bother talking about it. I don't think it would be something that he even acknowledges. Yeah.
Scott mentioned that he hopes that they approach it with like Billy D telling flashbacks. That'd be great. Ticking clock on that, maybe.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. I think
That's
when
the
the
thing.
project was first announced, I think a lot of people were like, "That's the way to do it. That'd be great." Like Billy
Yeah,
D intros the episode, and you get almost like a young Indiana Jones adventures sort of thing. But like
right.
Donald Glover's about the same age that Billy D was in 1980 now, so it's like they're not. Like you almost don't need to do that, but
Yeah,
it would be great if you could use him while you can, because as we've seen this past week and a half, like it's there's a ticking clock on all these guys. I love them to bits, but there really
yeah,
is. I was what when I was watching Star Wars, they're in the garage and like Mark Hamill's on his knees, working on R2, and I'm like, man, he's such a baby in this. Like he's
yeah,
a kid, and I contrast that to the photo that I saw of him sat next to Stephen King at some awards show just recently,
yeah.
just being a complete goofball. I'm like, we've watched this guy grow up, and it's amazing, but life is finite. Like, there's only so many times we can see these people again. Um, and yeah, we saw probably haven't heard the last of James L. Jones, but we've seen the last of James L. Jones, which was really sad.
Yeah.
23 years old, amazing career.
Hmm.
Uh, one of the most, if not the most iconic voices in all of cinema. Um,
Hmm.
there's people, because everyone likes to bring up bad things about people. Like there's some stuff from his past that might not be the best, but there's stuff from everyone's past that probably isn't the best.
Hmm.
Um, but for his contributions to Star Wars and for everything that we love and for his filmography, it's amazing. So I I found it hard when I saw the news. I was like, that sucks. He's 93 years old with an amazing career, got to do what he wanted to do for the longest possible time. You can only be so sad at that. Like that's the dream right there.
Hmm.
Um,
I wonder how many hours total he worked on Star Wars. Maybe a couple days tops.
a couple of days, yeah, I'd say less than a week total. Like it's got to be less than a
Yeah,
week, including
yeah,
everything that he did, like in a booth for it. Yeah,
yeah.
it's got to be less than a week.
Right, right.
It's amazing,
But he, I
and
mean,
he's willingly said to like Lucasfilm, like of his own volition, is like, "You are welcome to use my voice in perpetuity," which I have
oh,
mixed feelings about. Um,
well, I mean, here's the thing. Like so like I guess right now there's some shit going on with Rogue One. I guess they didn't really
yeah,
ask the family about using Peter Cushing's likeness.
it
I don't know
seems
what
weird.
it's all weird. I don't know what's going on.
Hmm. And
I
that's
don't
a
know.
developing thing that, like, I think will set a precedent for a lot of AI and
Right.
bringing dead people back.
But
I
even when
think
you
it'll, yeah,
even if you like watch old interview clips with Carrie Fisher from like the 70s, she
yeah,
says George Lucas has my
owns,
likeness so that she
yeah,
can put Princess Leia on anything forever.
yeah,
Every time I look in the mirror, she says, every time I look in the mirror, I have to give George a cut.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, she always
So
used the Pez dispenser as the example of like people breaking their
right.
neck backwards to get candy.
So like is I'm assuming the same deal was with Peter Cushing back
Yeah,
then. It seems really weird now.
yeah.
Um, but for me, is if James Earl Jones he's Darth Vader. I mean, as much as like, you know, uh what's his name? Why can't I think of his name? Um
Hayden.
no, well Hayden.
Oh, oh,
The
oh,
actor,
David Prowse. David Prowse.
David Prowse.
Yeah,
I kept wanting to say Peter Cushing. I'm like, that's not it.
yeah. I got
Yeah,
one of his
David Prowse.
signatures. One of his signatures before he started signing it as the real Darth Vader when he got really shitty with people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So like, so for me, like, I mean, if he gave him permission and said just go for it, like he's like,
by all accounts,
why wouldn't you want to live on?
yeah,
Like
by
I'm
all
assuming they did
accounts,
stuff
they
for
did.
did they
Yeah,
do stuff for Obi-Wan?
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
believe. I think it was like heavily modulated because obviously his voice didn't sound like it used to.
Right.
So I think it was a case of he did the line reads and then they essentially ran it through their Darth Vader filter. Um, to make it sound closer to how it used to. But I think they did like a Hayden pass, a James Earl Jones pass, and then worked on it. So I think it was like Hayden's delivery, James Earl Jones' voice and tenor, maybe his delivery, and then they just worked with what they could, and then they mixed it in the way that to make it sound closest to the performance they wanted.
But I'm sure he saw it. I'm sure he watched the Obi-Wan
that,
series, at least some of the Vader stuff. But the fact that he said that he would want to keep that going, I mean, I'd hate for them to abuse it. I feel like it would be great for them to use it in, like, you know,
even more sparingly than they do currently. Like make it carry weight, make it like really be a big deal when Vader does show up. My mixed feelings on it are like it's a voice performance. It's only ever been a voice performance. So cool, great, and he's willingly done that. He did that himself. It wasn't like an estate thing.
When you hear someone else do Darth Vader, it never sounds right.
There was one voice actor, I can't remember, is it Lawrence something? Might be. Who had done some. He was pretty good. Like it's
Dark
close.
Forces or something, right?
Yeah,
like some video games.
He'd done a bunch of video games, and I think he'd done some animated stuff, maybe.
Right.
Like I think maybe in Rebels or something like that. I think it was the Rebels voice actor I'm thinking of. Let me try and pull it up.
It could be nice if they can take the acting performance to give it sort of the inflection they need out of the performance, and then, you know, use James Earl Jones to sweeten it. I think that would be good. I think one of the things was like
totally cool with that.
Like young Luke in the Mandalorian didn't sound quite right.
Yeah. Like the in booth version, and then the digital recreation.
Yeah. Scott D has some info about Peter Cushing. He said for Cushing, they asked the family. The family didn't know about some deal he made with a producer who made his last TV movie about using his likeness.
Okay,
so maybe it has nothing to do with Rogue One.
So I know that
but they did pay the Cushing estate.
Yeah, the people who are like litigating it, basically, the people who are like going after Lucasfilm are this other deal, this movie from the 80s. I knew that part of it, but I didn't realize the stuff with the Cushing estate. That's good to know that they were cool with it.
Right.
Peter Cushing probably just didn't tell anyone that he'd made another deal about his likeness, because dude died in 94. When was that ever going to be a thing?
Right. You've been frozen for a little bit now.
I have been, haven't I? At least my voice is still coming through. Maybe if I do...
it's not like a super unflattering shot. You know, sometimes you do that and it's like...
Yeah.
You're making the weirdest face in that one frame.
All right, I'm just going to drop out and drop back in, see if that fixes it.
Okay, cool. So it's just me now, which... Oh, no, he's back fast.
Yeah, I mean, am I back?
Your name is back, and where where his box should have been was not there.
Right.
No, yeah, it's like I have like an empty starfield next to me, and just your name. I don't know. If I feel like if the artist said, "Hey, continue using there you are." I feel like if the artist continues, like, asked to continue using their stuff, like, go for it. But other than that, like, don't. I guess if the family's cool with it, fine. Like, I don't know how it worked. Do you see Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
I never did. I know the
Laurence Olivier, I believe, is
in it.
Yeah. But like, I don't know why. But in the movie, I like the concept of what's happening. So I'm going to spoil it for you. If you haven't seen Sky Captain this far. So there's this evil entity, Totenkopf, and this guy Totenkopf is like sending out robots all over the world to like destroy humans or whatever, right? And they find that this signal is coming from this island, and they go to the island, and it's overrun with like animals and crazy creatures and stuff, and they infiltrate Totenkopf's like fortress, and they get to Totenkopf, and it's almost like a Wizard of Oz type thing where Totenkopf, he's been dead for like centuries, and the whole island's being run on automatic.
Right.
So
Okay. Oh,
Totenkopf, when they approach him, he's this big projection, and it's Laurence Olivier. And so it's like, okay, Totenkopf's been dead for however many years. So it's kind of interesting in the story that they used an actor who had passed away. I mean, it was
hmm.
all cleared through the family and stuff, through the estate, which I guess is fine. I mean, I don't
It's the
know if
closest thing you
Laurence
can
Olivier
get.
would
Like,
want to be part of Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow,
yeah.
but I mean, it's kind of it's kind of fun. Yeah, put in a gif of Wicket and James for the headshot. Yeah, was that picture? Did someone do the Wicket rubbing Sindel gif but put your face on it? Do you
Yeah, I think
remember
so.
that? Yeah,
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 yeah. I
yeah.
don't know if I can
But
do
yeah,
that. It would be cool though.
yeah.
Um,
Figure out.
so yeah, I don't know. Like, listen, it's up to the people.
That's
If
it.
if if the family thinks it's something that they're probably just it gives them money, I'm sure. But if it's something where their dad would be like, "Oh, this is crazy," because like he was in countless horror movies,
Yeah.
like Hammer horror movies and
All the
stuff,
Hammer movies.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of like feels like, oh, he's like a Dracula type, or I mean, I know he played like Van Helsing and stuff, but it's like
Mhm.
he's risen from the grave to be this role. So it's like interesting, and they did get an actor to portray Tarkin, so it wasn't
Yep.
taking away a job from someone who's
A,
alive.
a, a
Um,
good actor as well. Like it's
yeah,
yeah.
so it's for me when it's comes to like this kind of stuff, like I'm sure Lucasfilm would approach anybody, and if the family's like, yeah, then it's like, okay, cool, we're good to do this. But the fact that it's coming from James Earl Jones,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, listen,
It gives it
here's the thing.
yeah.
It's like, okay, like make Darth Vader live forever and have it be me, because I mean, I can't think of someone else coming into the role, and like if there's some movie that comes out, you know.
No. Like
Yeah,
Hayden will be the body now because he wants to and because he seems to love doing it and everything like that. He's like
yeah,
been welcomed back into the family and everything like that. But like
yeah,
I think he'd always be happy with James L. Jones' voice being used over there as well.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it's in
Speaking
the
of
same
hate,
way that like you like people love it, people hate it. I don't know if anyone loves it, but some people really hate it with the Carrie Fisher resurrections and the way they did that in two different like versions of that. But
right? Billy
Billy Lloyd,
Lord.
Billy Lloyd signed off on that. Like she was like directly there. Like she did a lot of that herself. So again, and I think that is Carrie seemed like the sort of person who would have just been like, yeah, fuck it. I don't like whatever. Like I thought I'd signed that years ago, sort of thing. And
Yeah, yeah.
like yeah.
I also feel like it probably gave the production, like her death gave the production like all kinds of like troubles and hardships
Yeah.
and how they were going to tackle this, and
Yeah.
just make it difficult on the production from top to bottom, from screenwriting to effects. And I guarantee you Carrie would have loved being a nuisance to
Yeah.
the Star Wars crew.
Just being a pain in the ass. Like
Yeah,
absolutely. She's like it's one
yeah,
final like just little jab at them.
yeah,
Yeah, she would have been cackling about it. Yeah.
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 And I mean, Billy Lord's in the movie
Yeah.
where her mom is resurrected, and it's like, you know what? It's
She got to
as
swing a
long as the
lightsaber.
promotion is
Like,
there, as
yeah.
long as they feel like it's good, like, you can go to anybody and be like, hey, can we do this? And if they say no, then they won't do it. But if they say yes, then it's like, oh, we can have some fun and people will be excited.
I don't think they should do
Um,
it all the time. I do fear that we're gonna run out of new actors because they'll just keep recycling and we'll just get Harrison Ford in everything long after he's dead. Like I I do fear that future, but for certain things, for certain roles, if it's a character that they've already portrayed, I think that's
mhm,
when it can be used. But that's the argument. We're talking about how excited we are about Donald Glover Lando series. They came out and said that they sort of don't think they should have recast Han Solo, and I was like, Alden did a great job. I'd love to see more
yeah.
of Alden as Han Solo. Like I don't have a
Mhm.
problem with that.
I like Alden's Han Solo more than I like Glover's Lando.
Yeah, I remember you
uh,
saying, yeah,
in my opinion, since day one,
yeah,
because I expected it to be the opposite. I'm like, oh,
mm,
like everyone else, and I think it's true, is that everyone, when they heard the casting of Donald Glover as Lando, we were all like, "That's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
perfect. I love it."
It was the
And then
performance that you
Alden
were.
surprised me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Totally. I think
performance
it's
felt
why.
a little imitation to me.
Yeah. 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 I agree with that completely. I
Whereas
don't.
Alden felt like the essence of Han Solo. He
Mhm.
didn't do like a voice or anything.
And he brought his
But
own thing to it.
I mean, listen, like if Han Solo shows up in this show and it's Alden Ehrenreich, I'm going to be so happy. If
Yeah.
it's a young Harrison Ford, I'm going to be a little disappointed. Probably
Me
a lot
too.
disappointed.
Me too.
Yeah,
And I think that's where I worry is that they don't, or they feel like they have to do that. And that's
yeah,
just in
don't
film in
do it.
general. Like that's that's across the board. Like recasting's just been a part of film forever. Like, how would you feel if they just like
I
made
think the
one James
best
Bond? Like
solution.
they pick the Bond that they want, and then that's the only Bond now going forward. It's like, no, like changing
Shit, there's
cast
two
and stuff like
different
that's fine.
instances. There's three different instances in which an actor plays an ally to James Bond,
Oh, and then a villain.
and then two movies later, they're a villain. So in You Only Live Twice, Charles Gray played Henderson, who is a contact to James Bond. 2 movies later, he's Blofeld, the main villain in Diamonds Are Forever. You have Andrea Anders, who is Maud Adams, who plays a sort of ally to James Bond in The Man with the Golden Gun. I think it's like 3 movies later or 4 movies later. She's Octopussy, the main
Right.
villain
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
And then in the the Living Daylights,
I was gonna say Living Daylights is the
um,
one that I remembered. Yeah.
Brad Whitaker, the main villain of that
Yeah.
movie, is Joe Don Baker. 2 movies later, he's Jack Wade, an ally, a CIA agent that helps James Bond, and he appears in Tomorrow Never Dies, the following movie.
Oh my God.
Completely different characters. So they don't give a shit.
No.
They don't give a shit.
No.
And James Bond's supposed to be this up until Daniel Craig. James Bond's supposed to be the same guy.
Yeah, it's meant to be a continuation. It's like all these things
And you
did
can
happen.
kind of, with the Daniel Craig ones, even though they're serialized, can kind of be like, well, he's the same guy. These other stories just fit in between these movies.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit, and I love that they don't give a shit. And I'm tired
Me
of
too.
continuity, and I want James Bond to go back to just, hey, you know what? We're gonna have a new guy. May bring back the same money Penny and M. They did that like with Pierce Brosnan and with Judi Dench. It like made no sense that
Nope.
she was the same one. And it's essentially like,
And
here's the deal.
You had
You're
Q
reading the
through
book.
like all of them, like up and through to Pierce
Mm.
Brosnan. Yeah.
Like when you read the book, you insert whatever actor you feel the tone of that book is.
Yeah.
And so for this, it's just like I'm reading this book and I'm picturing Pierce Brosnan, but the M I'm thinking of is Judi Dench. And when I read Daniel Craig, you know what? I really like Judi Dench. I'm going to insert her into as the M character. And it's like, who gives a shit? They can give a fuck about continuity. And I know that Star Wars can't do that, but at the same time, it's like I kind of like cast younger if it's the time period before we know the main actors.
Yeah.
Like Luke Skywalker is a little boy in Obi-Wan.
Uh-huh.
He's not a de-aged Mark Hamill into a little boy. There's Alden Ehrenreich and Harrison Ford. There's a definite split at Star Wars.
Yep.
Same with Ewan McGregor. So you know, Ewan McGregor and Alec Guinness, it stops at Star Wars.
And Joel Edgerton is Uncle Owen and all all these guys.
Splits out at Star Wars. That's all fine. That's all fine.
The only one that they've is Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is the only one now that it's like there's a through before and an after, which makes the Return of the Jedi scenes, and we've talked about it. It's like
special edition.
Don't want to take away from that performance because it's very good, but it's one of those changes that I don't think I'd mind.
Mon Mothma's a super minor character. She has like one little speech,
and we know, the actress playing her now is amazing and does a great job.
I have the perfect solution. I have the perfect solution for all of this de-aging and reanimating the dead. I have the perfect solution. Get away from this storyline. Go to the future where these people don't exist. Go to the past where these people don't exist, so we don't have to worry about what Han Solo looks like. He died in one movie. We saw him at his very beginnings in a different movie. We're done with Han Solo.
He's done. We've told the whole story.
Yeah, and Lando,
Like
Okay.
other stories, that's what books and comics are for. It's like ancillary
Yeah.
stuff that like we don't need to
Yeah.
see it. If you want to read it, it's there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I was so upset that the Acolyte got canceled, was that it was the first thing we've seen in forever that had nothing else tied to it.
Yeah.
Mandalorian is pretty good about like being a time period,
Mm-hmm.
but then they start folding in Luke Skywalker and those guys, and it's like,
They're building their story out for that time period, that in between period, like the essentially like what I still refer to as like the heir to the Empire period, like that.
right.
The New Republic, like
Yeah.
it's the era of the New Republic.
Yeah. And Ahsoka was great. It didn't really have anybody in there except there was like a scene with C-3PO, which is fine because it's a droid that doesn't age.
Akbar was Akbar there? Mon Mothma was there. Yeah, I think Mon Mothma was in a scene, and Akbar
There
were both
wasn't
in the
any
scene. But
Luke.
like, yeah,
It's just
no.
let's we don't need these people. We don't need to go back to these people.
No, Leia was
Lando's already
referenced.
been established. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need a Lando movie.
No.
I love Lando. I've got enough. But if they're gonna do it, like, I guess do it. But after that, it's like, we stop messing with the same characters. Write new characters.
Get away. Yeah. Well, I mean, or like move forward with the characters who are age appropriate to play them now. Like move forward with as they are with Rey and hopefully Finn. Like
Finn.
it's move forward with those guys. Like let's get new. Let's go in that way. Bring back the Acolyte. Like I'll never stop saying it because it was amazing. I loved it and I really want to see what they do more with it. But even there at the end, now that it was cancelled, your despising of that ending, I'm right there with you. Like I never didn't ever need to see Yoda. Never wanted Yoda in there. The Plagueis stuff was fine, but like
I completely forgot about that. It was so dumb. Okay.
Hey, but that's great. Like because now, just touch if you ever decided to go back and rewatch it because it's still a good show, just turn it off. Just turn it off before that scene.
Okay, so I have a fun thing. Let's do this. Let's get Manny Jacinto talking with Donald Glover.
Okay.
Just bring his character over there. Wasn't he like young? Wasn't he like there's something about his age that he wasn't?
Yeah, it seemed like he was maybe ageless, or like it was a long time ago that he'd been an apprentice or something like that. So like, I mean, it's unnatural. He's might have dealings with Plagueis, who's all about like trying to preserve life. Yeah, we saw Plagueis. Like so we don't know what the deal is with any of that, but
I feel like the good place people and the community people might have a common sort of interest.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple of writers or directors and stuff that have had some crossover there. I'd be shocked if there wasn't. That'd be great. But again, then you lose some of the fun that Donald Glover wants to bring. I don't think Chimera the Stranger is bringing much in the way of fun. He's funny, but it's a very different kind. It's not fun.
Yeah.
But throw him into something else. Put him in a different show, like, and he can pop up in any time period. That'd be great. Chimera just pops up in as a Knight of Ren in a later Rey film. Wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Star Wars is great, and this is the sort of shit that I like. We can talk about all these things. We can talk about the things that we don't like. We can talk about the things that we do like, and I look forward to doing it forever because Star Wars isn't going anywhere.
I feel like the reason why I'm not excited about the Mandalorian movie is because we've seen 3 seasons of the Mandalorian, and to me personally, diminishing returns since episode 1. Minus like a few outliers like the Bryce Dallas Howard episodes and stuff. Like there's some good ones in there.
There's some in season 2 that I really like. Yeah.
But I think it's getting me excited about the Lando thing is like Donald Glover's talented. He's got interesting takes on everything.
Everything that he does is interesting. It's always different and weird. Like, and him saying that he wants to do something fun, I'm like, cool, because Mr. and Mrs. Smith was great, but it wasn't fun. Like, there's hilarious moments in Atlanta, but it's not fun. So if he wants to do something
one episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I've seen 0 at Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta's
You should
amazing.
probably give it a watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an anthology a lot of times. Like for most of like season 2 and 3, anyway, it's pretty
Yeah.
anthology. You can just drop in and watch an episode. There isn't much tying
I
together.
think, but I think that was the promise of like Lord and Miller. It was like it's going to be
Comedy.
like, oh, what would, yeah, comedy. And it's one of those things where I'm hoping Donald Glover kind of goes back to that. I think he might be setting like sprinkling a little like breadcrumbs, like, Star Wars should be fun. And maybe that's just him starting the spin of, here comes a Star Wars comedy. Here it
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah.
This is, he's just going to give you a little taste of like, see how people react to, I think Star Wars should be fun. And people are like, burr, burr, burr. I don't know.
They're going to be like that no matter what, though. I think that's the fear.
Yeah, I think it's planting the seeds of it's going to be fun and different, and I'm all for it.
As we start wrapping this up, I've got a recommendation. You're talking about the Lord and Miller and stuff. There's a podcast that I listened to. I listened to every episode. I started with like the first ones. It's called Going Rogue, and the first batch of episodes, I think the first 6 or 7 episodes, are all about Rogue One and how it's the closest thing that we've got to a comprehensive behind the scenes of this. It's really well researched. Just one person. It's like an essay podcast, essentially. Like they're just going through, breaking it down. Really good. She came back. She did a season 2 called Going Solo, all about Solo. And then after that was called Striking Out. It was all about the 2007-2008 strike. While the last year's strike was going on, those episodes were coming out. And then since then, she's done like either 1 episode or 2 episode like mini bits about various different films that have had
production
interesting, different, worth talking about productions. But those first 2 seasons about Rogue One and then Solo, well worth a listen. I think all of our audience would find them interesting. There's going to be stuff that you do know and stuff that you don't know, and both of them fascinating productions. And there's a lot about Lord and Miller in there. She's got a different opinion on both those movies. She likes one of them, she doesn't like the other one. But they're great podcasts. It's a really, really good series. I've now listened to every episode because I just enjoy the analysis. So yeah, if anyone's got, the episodes are pretty short as well. If anyone wants a new podcast to listen to, I recommend Going Rogue.
Okay.
I don't have anything else Star Warsy to talk about.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say is one of the things that made me happy this week was that Ewan McGregor got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, that was nice.
And like seeing him with Mary Elizabeth Winstead made me happy.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing him with Hayden made me happy.
Yeah.
Those
Hayden's
guys,
speech was great.
I don't need another Obi-Wan series,
No.
but I wish there was something we can do where those 2 guys got together again to do something.
It seems like, because it always, like when you watch the behind the scenes of 2 and 3 especially, like it seemed like they really were close. They had a real good bond. And then obviously there's 20 years where they probably don't see each other much. They say that they stayed in contact, but that could just be like publicity speak. But it seems like when they reconnected for that show, they really reconnected, and like they seem like they are all back in. I mean, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in the family, like, so Ewan's adjacent even when he's not working on Star Wars now. Hayden's in, like, I feel like whenever they need to use him or want to use him for anything, like he's at the call, like he's going to take that call. And so it's nice, like they seem like really good friends at work sort of situation that they've got. And I'm like, it's great to see. It's really nice to see. Yeah. Good. It makes me excited for like things like when they're bound to do a celebration panel together. And it's like, that's great because they've got a good like repertoire with each other.
It's a good excuse to get together.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Before we go, I'm having a kid.
What?
Yep. I thought I'd spring that on you and anyone else who's still here.
Who else is still here? That's amazing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we found out. So last episode, I sort of said something along the lines of like, yeah, no, next time we get together and talk about something, there might be some news that I can finally talk about.
I
We
assumed it was
knew.
the house.
Nope,
That's
nope.
fucking nuts, dude.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Yeah, we're about 12 weeks in. And yeah, everything's good. Yeah, we're having a kid. In what'll it be? About April next year.
Okay, so like
That's the other
so
reason we can't come to LA.
right, right. The okay, cool. I'm trying to think of taco centric names.
Oh, we've
Maybe
already
at
thought
least
of
as a
Paco.
middle
Like
name.
we like so we've got a baby name Tinder basically where we're swiping left and right and we're matching it. So like names that we both like, it pings up that you've matched. You both like this name. We're swiping through. There's a bunch of names. Some of them are good. Some of them are terrible. Taco came up, and without discussing it, we're both like, I mean, I'm not gonna ever swipe left on Taco. So at the moment, we do refer to the kid as Taco.
There you
Yeah,
go. Ignacio, nickname Nacho.
Oh, that's great. I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I don't think we'd call the kid Taco, but you never know. You never know.
Like cilantro or something.
I mean, yeah, because
There's a
we don't even
girl,
use that word. We don't even
margarita.
use cilantro over here as a word. We just call it coriander. So, you can get away with that. Maybe.
Margarita. Oh, now she's talking
Yeah,
to the
that
podcast. I hear her
we
talking
talked
to
about
the
that.
podcast.
Yeah, speaking of the podcast, yeah, we talked about that. We did an episode. We did episode 10 last week or the week before. We've got plans. We got more. That's the reason that Liz hasn't been drinking margaritas in the last few episodes, and I've been having
I
to
don't
get
know
through
that
them.
I've been noticed.
Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
so yeah. All right. The last one she did drive. That is true, but I mean, the reason she drove is because she's like, well, I'm not going to drink, so I may as well drive. So yeah, it's good.
That's
I've got a
great.
designated driver all around, and Ellie's here to say hi. Ellie, do you want to hop up? Come on. Can you hop up? Yeah. Ellie's here. She's going to be a big sister.
Hi, Ellie.
And she's gone.
She's gone.
Yeah. That's my exciting news.
I could hear Stevie reacting to the podcast in the front room. I could hear her awing. So you got an awe from Stevie.
Aw, thank you very much. I'd call Liz up here, but like she won't be able to hear. So yeah, I'll call her up in a bit.
That's really exciting. And it's cool because you'll be able to create a new Star Wars fan.
Yeah. The right way.
The right way. Release order.
Right way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, always. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, like, I mean, that is then why we were like going so gung ho on getting a house and everything before kid comes, because it would be nice. We love this place that I've been in. I've been living in this house I've been renting this house for 11 years. But we're in a position where we can buy somewhere, so we wanted to, and wanted to be able to do that with a kid.
That's
on the
cool.
Way. Yeah,
I want to buy something somewhere. I want to be in that position.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of work to get there. But yeah,
I think like stuff like lockdown kind of makes you be like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. I mean, I've gone through marriage, divorce, and everything in between at this house, and it's like, I mean, it's been my home for longer than I've ever lived anywhere in my life. But it's not mine. Like, it's never like, as much as it is my home, it's never been mine. And I'm just like, I look at this place that we've got now, and I see it as my own, even though we're like got a long way to go before it's like signed and we've got keys and everything. But yeah. Tommy the Duck said Shelley. There's already a Shelley in the family. I think Liz's cousin is a Shelley, so we can't go with that.
Yeah. Cool. We'll come up with something for you and get back to you on the next episode.
Perfect. Thank you. If you guys can just handle that for me, that would be amazing. It takes something off of my shoulders.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got enough going on. Thank you.
I'm very, very excited for you. Cool. Well, I mean, I don't know when we'll be back. I feel like next week I want to just like sleep for a week.
I think you should. I think you probably should. So yeah, everyone, please continue to send Ralph all the support and love. If you're seeing Ralph this weekend, give him a hug from me. And if you're not, then just virtually send all the love. But don't message him because he's busy.
I don't know how to say it to people. I'm like, please,
I mean
just leave me
I shot you
alone.
a message. I shot you a message yesterday just because I was like, I just want to just be like, throw you some support, and I just be like, hey, I just saw Star Wars. You suggested doing an episode. I wasn't
I think it's.
intending to do an
Well, I
episode
think here's
today.
the thing. Here's the thing. For about 3 years now, it's been nonstop Lost stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wants to reach out to me about Star Wars or not Lost stuff, that's great. It's so great. But it's like
Yeah,
people.
I've been filling you in with our lost progress because we're like 2
Yeah.
episodes away. We're gonna watch the penultimate. We're gonna watch what they died for tonight, and then we're gonna do the
Oh, so
finale
you the
tomorrow.
last one you left on was Across the Sea?
Yeah.
How'd that go over? I'm not talking about Lost.
Better than the one before. Was it the Last Candidate or something? The one
I don't
before
remember.
where Liz was like, I mean, fuck this show. I don't want to watch this anymore. You just killed off Jin, Sun, and Saeed. Like, I'm out. I'm done.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like, oh, it doesn't age. It doesn't get better with more that you watch that. It just the way that all plays out is like, oh,
It
that's
may or may not be brought up in the documentary, and it is
good.
a tough. It's a tough. Oh, I hit my mic and it didn't turn off.
No,
Great.
you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things where it's like, if you text me about literally anything else, I will be so happy to receive the text. I was telling uh Taylor and Emily the other day, I'm like, I'm getting so many questions about the premiere, and I just want to tell people, like, it's just going to the movies.
Yeah.
Just you can figure it out. Please please stop asking me. I've got so much on my plate. I have so much work to do today, and I should probably get going to do that. But it's just
Yeah.
like, yeah. Anyway, it's not
Let's wrap
rocket
it
science.
up. Keep an eye on socials. We'll be back when we're back. Couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, who knows. We'll be around. We'll keep talking to you. We'll let you know whenever we know that there's going to be an episode. This one was quite last minute, so you never know. It'll probably be a Wednesday if it is, though.
Yeah. Definitely.
Unless we need to do an
cool.
emergency pod for like the most amazing trailer or announcement and stuff ever.
Like Skeleton Crew, right? That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But that thing we talked about, so that thing that we talked about, that we was it episode 110 that's not available right now.
Oh, yep.
I can say that this is something, the Penguin comes out tomorrow. Ooh. And I'm excited to be the Penguin because I heard that Mick Giacchino is doing the score, or did the score.
Good. Yeah, because he did a piece for the Batman, didn't he?
Yes, he did the car chase.
Yeah.
And then he also did a cue for Getting Lost. So he's got a pretty good track record this year. We'll see what else comes down the pipeline. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Something else this year.
Right.
If you were there in the live chat, you know. If not, you'll find out when it's announced. Yeah.
But I'm excited for all that. I'm excited for everything. Tell Liz congratulations.
I will do. I'll get her to come up and say hi in a sec. But yeah.
And just relieve her of the burden of naming the kid. We got it covered over here.
I'll let her know you guys have got it. It's amazing, and I've seen all the suggestions. I'll let her know. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Don't give in to hate.
Celebrate the love.
Punch it.